Time for Stuck and Duck. Got a fun topic today. We're going to be optimistic. Which Chicago team of the 8 has the brightest future? And we're going to be joined by Kacy right now. Kacy, what's up? Kacy, you're going to help us build a list from 8 to 1 in terms of brightest future. Lawrence, I also want you to contribute.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Look, all 8 teams right now, I don't think really anyone is on the doorstep of a championship. The Sky were there this year, came up short, and now they're going to be facing some things in the offseason. So I think everyone's kind of like in the same kind of place. I think every fan base is hopeful, but things have to happen. Things have to fall into place. But let's just rank things. I mean, I really kind of want to know like which fan base should be the most hopeful. So I think Lawrence has a great graphic that we're going to bring up, and we're going to work through this together. Sound good?
Yeah, let's figure this out. Okay, let's see.
Law Dog's got it. Oh, look at that. That is
team
sharp.
with the brightest future.
Okay,
all right. Does anyone want to throw out?
We're going to start at 8.
Who doesn't have a great future right now?
All of them. No.
I was going to say we can't
Lawrence,
put
you want
everybody
to start?
at 8.
You have the mouse to drag it in.
Yeah. Oh, I do. Who you want to start at the bottom?
Yes, we're starting at the bottom. We're gonna put some suspense in here.
Honestly.
And look, this is going to be fluid. Like if we want to switch things around.
Okay. Well, okay. So
let's
the
go
Blackhawks,
while we're young.
The Blackhawks are currently awful, but they do kind of have a bright future, so I don't want to put them at 8. The Fire, it's the same old with them.
Yeah.
And I just think I'm putting them at 8. I'm sorry.
I like the Fire's owner. He seems to want to win.
Yes, he has all of the money in the world.
He's putting money into it.
Just do it. Lawrence, just do it.
Just do it.
When you said Chicago Fire, I thought of the TV show in Severide.
You got to stop watching those bad NBC shows. They're all bad. Stop watching those.
Is he still on?
Yeah.
Severide, is he still live on that show?
The problem with the Fire is that their owner has all this money, but he's kind of doing it like Reinsdorf, where he keeps the same idiot in charge. So, that's a problem. So we'll put them at 8. Anyone have any disagreements there?
I agree.
I'm good with that.
Ding. Okay. Are we going?
Make sure you're hitting our comments up too. Let us know where you think some of these things should go.
Now I have to look at comments?
Jack says Bulls at 8.
Yeah.
No.
I
understand.
Baloney Fonseca says Fire 8, so he agrees.
Fire stink out loud. Yes, that is true. Okay. What do we got here at 7? We're going that way? Is that what we're doing? Or
now we're going to 7.
So I actually kind of think the Sky are at 7.
That's what I was going to say.
I think they're up against it.
I was going to say that too.
Oh God,
mighty have fallen. Just because they lost in the playoffs, or because what's coming in the offseason?
What's coming? I think they got free agents coming up.
Yeah.
Courtney Vandersloot is a free agent. Azrae Stevens is. Emma Miesemann. They're probably gone. Yeah. Candace Parker is old.
But she's still...
Allie Quigley is old.
If you had Vandersloot, Quigley, and Parker coming back, it'd be their 12th, 14th, and 15th season in the WNBA.
Save us, Kalia Copper. You're our only hope.
Kalia is amazing. Currently hooping it up in the World Championships or something.
Now, I will say James Wade is a huge positive.
Yes.
He's a great coach, a good GM. Like, how do you pivot? But, look, the WNBA is like the NBA. You need stars to win.
However, I'm going to say there's no way they're 7. You know why?
Why?
There's only 12 WNBA teams. They have a better shot just inherently than...
All right, so we'll push them off.
It's shitty Cubs or White Sox or Bears.
Team. No, it's the team that Lawrence mentioned. It's the Blackhawks because they want to be number 7 on that list. And I'm talking about, like, you could say future is bright. Prospects are prospects. They are tanking. This is tanks for nothing this season, and they are in it for Connor Bedard. They want the number 1 overall pick. Now, if they get the number 1 overall pick,
we do this next year.
We do it next year. They shoot to number 1 because he's supposed to be that great of a prospect, that elite of a prospect at center.
I just feel like, isn't their future bright as is based on the fact that they've identified they're fully tanking, and this is they can only go up. So
no.
Do you know for sure that any of the players currently on their roster are going to be on the team the next time they're good? You don't.
Well, Seth Jones has an 8-year deal, so it's probably him.
Taves and Kane are getting older. They probably won't be on the team. Taves already said he doesn't want to be part of a rebuild. And
they've scrubbed they've scrubbed the slate clean, but that's all they are is a clean slate. Let's put them at 7.
If you put Blackhawks 7, then 6 is definitely Sky.
What about the Cubs?
Yes.
What about the Cubs? What are the Cubs doing?
No.
Hold on. How is there a bright future on the north side?
I guess you haven't
seen
seen
the
lots
prospects. Of money. They have good prospects.
And they're going to have tons of money, hopefully, this offseason.
I mean,
They have
That
a
they'll
pretty good
hopefully
infrastructure
use.
in the front office.
And when Shohei's traded,
they haven't buried themselves under a Javi Baez or Chris Bryant or Anthony Rizzo contract.
they're doing it right. Now, they're
5.
they're
probably.
further in the process than the Blackhawks are. The Blackhawks are at
yeah, they're at
7, but you
bottom.
have to put the Cubs ahead of that because they've already started that process. They've started developing some young
Sure,
guys.
they're a year ahead.
Justin Steele looks good. Nico Horner looks great. Seiya Suzuki looks pretty good. And
Keegan
then you have
Thompson
this
from
stretch of
Yeah.
pitchers that are coming up.
So
So we're saying
Lawrence, put Sky at number 6. So we've
Yes.
got Fire, Blackhawks, Sky.
Ay.
So for 5, we are
Probably Cubs.
I'm not that low on the Cubs. I
No?
would say I don't know enough about the Red Stars to be perfectly
Again,
honest about
Red Stars are in a
Mallory Pugh, I know,
smaller
is on the team.
This is why I invited Lawrence because he can talk about
They're
the
in
Red
a
Stars.
smaller league. They have a better shot to win.
Mallory
every
Pugh
year.
is an MVP candidate.
That's why I think
then
Cubs are 5 and Red Stars are 4.
I mean, what about the White
I
Sox?
I would argue then that the Bears should be at 5
Yeah.
because if Justin Fields is not your quarterback, it's reset and rewind all over again because if he's good, great. You have a ton of money in free agency next year because all those dead contracts are gone and you have a new stadium coming and blah, 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 blah. All those things are positive. But you have to have a quarterback in the NFL, and if it's not Justin Fields, which we don't know yet, but if it's not Justin Fields, holy
Yeah.
mackerel, we're doing this all over again.
But you have the potential of a quarterback. You have $100 million to work with this next offseason. You've got a new stadium coming up.
Aaron Rodgers still plays.
You
in
may
the
have
division.
solved the offensive line, or at least you're getting there.
Jack Brown has.
You had a great draft class.
Jack Brown in the chat says there's no way in hell the Sox have a better future than the Cubs. I mean, if we just talked about the window closing like 20 minutes ago.
In my list in my head, I have the Sox and Cubs at either 2 and 3, and I could put either team either place.
Wow, that high.
I just think it's crazy to think that a baseball team where there's 30 teams and they've never done anything, either of these teams. Like, what are we talking about?
Well, are we
here?
talking about a bright future as in they're going to be in the playoffs and contending and those
Yeah,
things? Or
I
are we
mean-
talking about the only thing that counts is a championship and the only way you get there?
I mean, yes. I guess a consistent deep playoff runs is a bright future.
Right. So if they're getting to, win divisions and competing and winning playoff series, I think both the Cubs and the Sox could be in that much sooner than I could see the Bears doing it if Justin Fields isn't good.
Oof.
So
So
we're saying Bears number 5.
Bears 5.
That low?
Yeah, I mean they're pretty much a
Make the
terrible
case,
Did
franchise.
you
Kacy.
see that game?
I just,
We don't know if the coach is good. We don't know that yet.
it's too early to say.
I feel like the Bears are 4, but I'm not sure who that makes 5.
Well,
Yeah.
then for me, it's the Red Stars because I don't know
Yeah,
where
but
else
that's
to
just
put them.
because you don't know who they are.
Right, I
that's
don't know
not
where
fair.
else to put them.
I mean,
I don't know where else to put them. You tell me they're number 1. Tell me why they're 1.
I would have put Bears at like 3 with optimism.
Oh, Casey, come on. What are you?
I
The
would
Red,
have.
the Red
Honest,
Stars. The Red Stars have been in the final. What?
Yes.
Were they back-to-back finals?
What was it? 19 and 20, maybe.
Yeah.
I think.
Bears
But they're
5,
still
Red
not
Stars
drawing.
4.
They still don't have like a big part of the.
Well, right.
The Chicago sports
yes,
consciousness.
Sure, the league could fold. That's not a very bright future.
Yes,
Well, that's part of it. That's part of it.
financially, their future is not as good as the Bears. If we're talking about financial future, the Bears are high
The
on
Bears
that
are
list.
number 1.
I don't know. I mean,
Let's leave the Bears at number 5.
okay.
Yikes.
So,
Oh man, that's going to make some people angry.
So
Oh,
we have
boy.
not talked about the Bulls right now, and I,
I mean,
think
it's kind of clear they're 1, which is
Are they?
Because how
are
they
we
one?
really going to put the Bulls at number 1?
I don't know. I'm gonna just have to think Big Dave is gonna make.
Let's see what people think in the comments.
Someone said the Bulls should be lower. Jack Brown said the Bulls should be lower than the
Mid.
Bears.
He said the Bulls are mid.
Because is that because he thinks Justin Fields is the real deal? If you believe that, if you believe Fields really is going to be an elite quarterback, then the Bears should be up near the top of the list because they're going to have money, and then they would have their quarterback, which is a big thing, and they got a new stadium, all those things. I think
Put the Bears 3.
That's what I thought.
Oh boy, Bear.
you could
I thought
literally
Bears
put
3, Bulls 1.
And who like
Red Stars too.
I go
Red
Bulls,
Stars?
White Sox, Cubs.
This is hard.
But I could easily put the Cubs ahead of the problem with the Bulls, right? The problem with the Bulls is being in the middle of the NBA is basketball hell.
Correct.
Trying to get out of that middle space. But if you're saying their future is bright, I do think they're a playoff team. And so
Do the Bulls have the best front office in the city? I think that's kind of really what this comes down
Maybe
to.
I trust.
Who do you trust most?
I do trust them, maybe the most, but that's even wishy-washy because Patrick Williams is their draft pick. We don't know. Lonzo Ball can't stay on the court. He's their move. Vooch is their move, and the guy couldn't hit a shot in the postseason. So I actually like what they're doing, but that side of me starts saying, what are you talking about? Like, how are they getting from there? Unless they get Kevin Durant, how are they going from there to
It seems like
there?
it seems like they're adults in the room, which is good.
Yeah.
Well,
They've made bad decisions, but I think that they're smart enough with the cap, and they've got the infrastructure in that front office to pivot and kind of get out of this. I think
it won't be easy, but I agree.
this is a lot harder than I thought.
Yeah.
it was gonna
Okay.
be.
So
This
just
is really
going through the
hard.
chat here, Baloney Fonseca says the Red Stars are a very solid team. They should be no lower than 3. I'm kind of with him there. Jack Brown, he's saying the Bulls should be lower than the Bears and that they're a mid team, and he says that they have virtually no shot at championship because, like Luke just said, they're kind of stuck in that middle area there.
Okay, comments. Who's won then?
So coming into this year, the White
Who is
Sox
the
were the closest at elevating
Yeah,
CHGO
Duke
to a
Eaton.
title in the first year
Yes.
of our media organization.
unquestionably.
So does that make them one?
No, because look at what's happened to this. They've totally just tanked the season and like fallen apart.
If it was
and
any other front office, I'd say, okay, well, they'll just figure it out and do something this offseason,
I
but
think
you
it
just
still
can't
has
have
to
the
be
faith.
the Bulls.
I'll tell you what, nobody's going to like this,
But
especially
the
on
Bulls are
South
owned
side.
by the guy that owns the White Sox.
Why- Yes, but
why are you not saying Cubs? Why is nobody saying Cubs? They're the
Bulls
one.
made
They're
a better
the one thing
playoff run
trending
last
up.
year.
Tell me what team is trending up right now. It's not the White Sox. It's not the Bears necessarily. We don't know where they're trending. The Bulls are sort of horizontal, waiting for a heartbeat to see what they've got. It might be the Cubs.
If we put the Cubs over the White Sox right now at 1-2, the entire South Side is going to break the door down and carry us out of here.
Duke Eaton says the Sox should be one because they have the talent, just need some changes when it comes to leadership at the managerial standpoint and a roster tune-up.
I agree with Kirk. Cubs have to prove they're going to spend first. I don't believe them.
Oh,
Yeah, but the Sox have to prove they're going to be willing to make that move and make the front office move that matters and spend too. So it's like I see both those teams are like they're like 1A, 1B, the Cubs, White Sox. The Sox are 2 bold moves away from being championship contenders. The Cubs are 3 or 4 spending moves and some of these young players coming up. I'm willing to maybe give the Sox the nod, but it's 1A, 1B for me, and then the Bulls 3.
Maybe we just make the Red Stars.
That's right, baby. I'm telling you, every year as long as the league's still existent, they're going to be in the playoffs and they're going to.
I still think you go Bulls 1, Cubs 2, Bears 3, Sox 4,
I mean, that's crazy.
The
Red
Bulls-
Stars 5.
The Bulls are the most likely playoff team out of that list.
I mean, Jack makes the Bulls are currently a play-in caliber team.
Correct. Yeah.
But the most likely out of all of our teams to be in the playoffs this season.
Agreed.
Yeah, but the Red Stars are in the playoffs every year. You can't
Okay,
put the Red
yeah.
Stars.
But we're still
below-
talking about potential who's got the brightest future, not necessarily who's going to make
Right.
the playoffs next.
Right. Well, I mean, how
Is
far
future,
is the future?
like 1 year or
If it's this year,
4 years
it's
from
the
now?
Bulls. If it's winning a championship, it's the Cubs or White Sox. Take your pick, whatever side of town you're on. That's what you're going to believe.
I mean,
This
I don't
is
think
tough.
I don't think the Bears have any shot at a championship anytime soon.
No, unless Justin Fields all of a sudden develops into the real deal and they have all this money in the offseason.
What if he
But
goes
that
out and tears up
seems-
the Texans and we do this next week?
No, still not.
I mean, every week we're going to go like,
Well, that's what we do in Chicago. We've already talked
Right,
about
well,
it.
what if they lose to Lovie Smith and the Texans, who are supposed to be the worst team in the NFL? Then you're going to come back and be like,
Texans are-
well, the Bears should be last on that list.
Great question, Luke. All 4 phases.
I think Bulls. I actually think we go Bulls number 1 because I do like that front office. I trust them.
Yep.
Can we do this?
Yep, we're done.
Bulls, then
we have
Cubs
to
or
make a
Sox. Take your
decision.
pick.
We have to make the call.
I want to put the Bears at 5. Honestly,
I agree.
Yeah,
Bears
put
5
the Bears
and
back
Cubs
to
Sox
5.
have to be 2-3.
How did they even get moved to 3?
I don't know. I think
So we're going to put
yeah.
Cubs.
I want Red Stars at 2.
Lawrence, you're pretty agnostic in this whole in the Cubs Sox. So
Cubs Sox. I mean, like the Sox clearly right now have a better talent on the roster, but like, are they? I don't know. This season has soured me so heavily on this team. Like Luke said earlier, how they just bad base running. Like all that shit pisses me off too much. So I don't know. Do they have a bright future?
I don't know.
If they get rid of Tony, please get rid of Tony. Stay healthy, stay away. I don't know.
So do the Red Stars go at number 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do it.
And then the
I
Cubs,
think
Sox,
I think
3,
the
4.
Sox go at 3. You can't put the Cubs in front of the Sox.
The Sox have more major league talent right now. The Cubs have more minor league talent. So I'm willing to accept that. If you want to say Sox, they just have to be willing to make those moves, and I'm not sure they're willing to make those moves, or at least some of them.
After a year like this year, when there was such high potential and everyone was psyched, the Cleveland Guardians went through this too. You just, and then it's over, and then it takes a couple more years, and then it's like a big, peaks and valleys. So
Peaks and valleys.
I would say Cubs over Sox.
Let us know what you think. I'm sure people are gonna. Once we put this out on social, people are going to go nuts.
Officially, just to for the podcast listeners, Bulls are 1, Red Stars 2, Sox 3, Cubs 4,
Debatable.
Bears 5, Sky 6, Blackhawks 7, and Chicago Fire 8. Ugh.
You could
honestly though, I could actually see the Fire kind of retooling in the next 2 years.
They have a lot to do,
and some of that stuff coming through.
I mean, they're losing.
6, 7, and 8 are correct. 1 through 5 are almost interchangeable.
Yeah.
You could make an argument for every team on there 1 through 5. And you could also argue against 1 through 5.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Ryan Green tweeted us and said the CHGO sports team has the brightest future.
Oh, no, isn't that special?
Probably true.
Ryan Green, thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Please come
Ryan.
take pictures and videos of us again. That'd be great.
Awesome. Well, make sure to tell us what you think we got right, what we got wrong, and subscribe to the Chicago Sports Podcast.
You know what should be number 1? I just thought of it.
Uh-oh.
Angry Chicago sports fans.
Winner.
Number 1.